This is LTV.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by DeCarolis Insurance Agency Incorporated, DeCarolisinsuranceagency.com, and by Enterprise Bank. Enterprise Bank creates success. EnterpriseBanking.com.
Hello and welcome to Inside Leominster. My name is Dean Mazzarella, Mayor for the city, and thanks for joining us. We are live this afternoon, as we are each and every Thursday from 4 o'clock till 5 o'clock. And we're not going to waste any time today because we've got a busy show, lots to talk about, but very important to us and a tradition here, and a fixture in tradition here, and one of the highest paid people here at Inside Leominster. It's time for the Art Report.
Yes, it is. You know, going out shopping during the week, etc., it's funny the trends that we go through as a population of the people.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, for the past, I think, couple of years now, it seems to be the in thing to do is to wear your pajamas grocery shopping. I never figured that one out.
No.
And then they started wearing their hats backwards. The only time we did that growing up was when we were behind the plate and being the catcher and the mask, it wouldn't interfere with the bill in the front. Now they wear them backwards as a fashion. I don't get that one. Then I noticed recently, especially in auto racing, they don't answer questions anymore with if someone says, you seem to lose control coming out of the fourth turn. What was the reason for that? And instead of saying, well, the reason is I had a right rear flat, it's so. They start with the word so, which I don't understand. I don't get it at all. Or they'll be in the middle of something and they'll say in terms of. In terms of what? Just answer the question.
Yeah.
I think it's trying to show a different level of person that you're communicating with. You know what together, and I just don't agree with it at all.
Interesting.
But that's me. I'm old school, but pajamas, I don't know. And it always seems to be in a grocery store.
Well,
I've never seen anybody wearing pajamas going shopping for clothes, or pajamas for that matter,
people used
which
to
would
get,
make it convenient. They could take them off and try them on. And it looked like they did when they got there.
People used to dress up when they used to fly on a plane. They would dress up to go travel, right? Not anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I got a lot of free time on my hands since there's no golf. And I see these things, and they really interest or disinterest. And I was curious, have they found anything yet up by the No Town Reservoir?
Nothing. No, they cleared the scene. Nothing.
Really?
The report was there was a either, I don't want to say it wrong, I'm not sure if it was a canoe and it was flipped over or just a canoe, but it appeared to be a canoe that had been sitting there through the winter months. And then somebody said they thought they saw somebody swimming out there. And so, not sure.
I was wondering maybe it blew off the roof of a car, you know, the bungee cords or something.
No, it was definitely one out there. And but they responded quickly and called in the troops from everywhere, and you can always send them back. And they did a thorough search. They had a state police helicopter out there, and a thorough search. And
if somebody don't show up tonight for supper, they can then go back out, right?
Well, I don't know about that, but they did a thorough search and didn't appear that anybody was out there.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
You know, you don't like hearing stuff like that.
No.
And I'll tell you, this past snowstorm, those guys did an over-the-top job of keeping this city perfect.
Outstanding. They did a great job. And
that was the heaviest snow I've ever noticed that I've been around.
It's cement.
I mean, it was heavy.
Yeah, cement.
But the nice part about it was I snow rake the roof so I don't have icicles, And last year I didn't have to snow rake once, but this storm I figured I better.
Yep.
And when I did, once I took a little bit, it started to follow with it.
Right.
The weight was pushing,
Yep.
and it was self-cleaning. It was pretty good.
And then the sun came out.
Yeah. Yep. And also now it's spring.
Yes, spring has sprung.
Underneath my deck, it's 36 by 18. It's a perfect condominium for the rabbits. And yesterday, coming home, we were going by the Apple Hill Farm up in the back. All of a sudden, all I could see through my windshield, about 30 feet to my left, was this biggest hawk I've ever seen.
Wow.
And it wasn't flapping its wings, and it was in a descending angle. Then I looked to my left, and there was a rabbit. Then I saw it land on the rabbit, and then the hawk took off with brunch.
Oh, no. With the rabbit?
Mother Nature, yes.
Wow.
Mother Nature taking care of Mother Nature.
Wow.
I slowed because I thought it was going to come right through my windshield.
Wow.
But he just banked kind of to the right and barely stopped. Had the claws out, the talons, and just, what do they call it when somebody shoplifts something and grab, a sneak and grab, or whatever.
Grab and run.
That's it. That's it. Grab and run. It was a good-sized meal, too.
Wow.
But what are you going to do? And I'm noticing more doves, and it's that time of year, my friend.
Yep.
Get the street sweepers out.
Oh, they're out. We've started, well, a lot of chipping to do, a lot of trees that came down, a lot of brush to pick up. Yeah.
Yes, but things are starting to shape up where there was a lot of construction before.
Yes.
It's now gone, and everything's moving well.
Yep. No,
Once you clear a light, if you clear it early, you're going to keep going through them all green, and that's a good thing.
Well, stay tuned for more info.
Yes.
We got lots to talk about today. And
Okay.
we'll talk
Take
to you
care.
soon. Yes. 978-534-1626. If you have any questions, most of the time if you're asking a question, there's somebody else out there that's got the same question, but maybe they don't want to call. You can always email me, and I get it right here at dmazzarella@leominster-ma.gov. You can ask the question. I'll read it, give you the answer, so you don't even have to call. Or you can call and talk to Keith or Bradley. There's somebody back there will talk to you. You can ask the question and hang up if you want, if you don't want to come on air. 978-534-1626, and we're going to take a short break. But guess what? We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Keith from LTV. We're here at Athens Pizza doing the pizza crawl. I've never met a slice of pizza I didn't like, so I'm excited. Well, that is excellent. Very nice. Cheese is nice and melty. The crust is just like you'd expect it. Yeah, get a shot of that. That is a wonderful slice of pizza, and I'm just gonna go enjoy this. So we'll see you at the next place.
There you go. The pizza crawl. Hey, we still got tickets at City Hall, and you can get them right up until tomorrow at City Hall if you'd like. And you can spend the next couple of days going to chase down pizza. Keith, how many places have you been to?
So we've been to 8 so far.
8?
Actually 9, sorry. We only have launch left.
Wow. That's a lot of pizza, buddy. Good thing you're
It is.
good thing you're young and slender.
Yeah, no, I was stuffed on Monday. We did 5 places.
Do you have a favorite pizza yet?
Espresso's was my favorite, but they've all been really good.
Yeah, it's everybody's got a, I don't know, it's everybody's got a different twist on it, right? You know? Yeah. Good for you. So you could still get, so here's the way it works. $3 gets you a ticket. Flip it over, it gives you a list of all the pizza establishments and restaurants. You go in there, give them $1. You see the size of that slice of pizza there? You give them $1, you get a slice of pizza, and you can travel around the city to all the different places that are on that card. And then you come back, fill that card out, turn it back to City Hall, the mayor's office, and list your favorite pizza. Right, Keith?
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it. All right. Just going to, I'll go through the slides later. And I want to remind everybody that tonight we have a health fair. It's actually not your average health fair. There'll be resources from Leominster and nearby communities to learn about being healthy, staying healthy, including prevention, natural remedies, sports exercise, recreation, and more. It's free. It's tonight, Thursday, the 23rd, from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock at the John R. Tater Auditorium. And stop by. And I didn't know this, but they have some really cool raffles. And I don't even think you have to buy a ticket to them. I don't think. It doesn't look that way. So anyway, if you have a time tonight, 6 o'clock. The sun don't go down till somewhere around 7 o'clock now, so you are in good shape. Yes, you are. And Nick's with us from the Conservation Commission. He's the conservation agent for the city. And welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
And yikes, huh? What a season. Spring's coming.
Yep.
And Nick has been doing some trails. We've advertised them here. You've been taking kids and adults out on hikes. You did the last one at the is it under the control of the Audubon Society?
Yeah, it was the Mass Audubon Lincoln Woods Wildlife Sanctuary.
So it's if you're heading from town, you're heading up Union Street, and Sylvan Ave is on your right. Just right in that vicinity, you'll see a sign. There's a house there, but that's separate. But it basically is it looks like a long driveway.
Yep.
All wooded, and you can see it. You are allowed. A lot of people are conflicted. They're not sure they're allowed to go in there, but you are. You're very much welcome to go in there.
Oh yeah.
And it's under the control of the Audubon Society, which I think is their only property here in Leominster.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So you decided to do a hike there, and you had quite a few people show up.
Yeah, it was the most got the most response of any of the hikes that we've got going so far. It was a vernal pool hike was the overall theme because we got a number of really nice vernal pools that are sitting back in that property.
So a lot of people don't know what a vernal pool is.
Yeah. So a vernal pool basically is a type of temporary wetland. Certain depressions out in the forest will fill up with water over the wintertime into the springtime, and they don't have any major hydric connections, so no water flowing in and out, so they're free of fish. And those are really important breeding habitats for amphibians and all kinds of invertebrates and lots of other mammals. Like I've seen fox and deer out in Lincoln Woods out there. It's a big hub for a lot of wildlife.
So how does the water get there? Is it groundwater, or is it just rainwater that, because of what's underneath the ground, doesn't drain into the ground, so it sits there, therefore it's a vernal pool?
Right. It's just because of the topography of the site. You know, it's basically any kind of bowl-shaped depression where the water can't sink in too much, and they get filled in with rainwater and snowmelt from the wintertime.
And that's really the source of their water. There's no spring underneath. There's no drainage draining into it or anything. So it's kind of a unique situation.
Yeah.
And then other species need to, this is how they survive, especially this time of the year. There's not a lot of vegetation in some cases. And
Yeah.
So they're out there living. So you explain all that to them and what the trees and vegetation that might be out there. And now, how big is Audubon offhand? I always forget.
Few dozen acres.
Yeah, it's a good-sized tract of land out there.
Yeah. When you're looking on the map of Leominster, it's like kind of right in the middle, a little south. It's that big patch of green when you're looking on the satellite, but it's like a really prominent.
People go by all the time and they don't know that you can go in there. They should almost put a sign up there that says, welcome, welcome, please use our trails.
Yeah.
And it sets back off of Union Street, and it's on the left-hand side. But there's a sign out there, but for some reason, people just don't use it as much as they should.
Yeah. I'm going to have to look into it because it is Mass Audubon managed.
Yes.
But one of the things I've noticed being around town is just a lot of the signage for some of the areas like that could be better. So that's something I'll be working on this year, is trying to allocate some funds to get more prominent signs so people know, what they're passing by. Because there's a lot of opportunities for hiking around and checking out really unique, cool ecosystems like that all over the city. And people just don't know.
Now, if anybody has a question, 978-534-1626. People will start construction now. They've been putting plans together. They're going to put a pool in. They're going to put an addition on their house. They're going to, put up a small shed or a building, and maybe it butts a watershed or a reservoir. So what are the if somebody doesn't, they're like, yeah, we just put up a small deck or whatever, or put an addition to the house. What's the normal course of action that they should be taking?
Well, first off, if you're unsure about any of that, if there's any question that you might be within that area of wetland that you need some permitting through conservation, always encourage people to reach out to my office and give me a call. I'd be happy to answer any questions. But basically, for most things, you need to file a notice of intent with all the submitted site plans and all that, and I schedule a hearing, and then that goes before the Conservation Commission, for which I am an agent, and then the commission is the body that
decides,
passes those permits and
puts
and holds
conditions
votes
on them and
Yes.
those sort of things.
Yeah.
And it's really there to protect the general public.
Yeah.
There to protect the wildlife or the whatever water source there might be out there. So it's not to say that you can't do what you want to do, but sometimes there are some conditions and things that you could do, hay bales and tarmac. I mean, a bunch of things that you could do to help prevent that. And the last thing you want is to be doing a project and you live upland, and all of a sudden you get this washout, and you get these torrential rains, and it all ends up in the catch basins, or worse, it ends up in other people's yards. It ends up in, I remember one year we had a drought in the summer, and then a contractor decided to open up a project, and it was all clay. And it was a total disaster. And that's what we're trying to, we're trying to avoid those kinds of things happening. So you can always call Nick, and at City Hall, you can call our office. We'll switch you to Nick, and he'll go over it. There's a thing called a determination of applicability. And explain that.
So that's for, typically smaller jobs or things that are, still within what we call the buffer zone, our jurisdiction within wetlands, but they might be set further back. And that's when, it's a determination of applicability. So we're trying to determine whether the Wetland Protection Act applies to your case, basically.
Right. And there's no fee for that?
There's no filing fee, but we still need to post notices in the paper, and the paper requires a
So
fee.
you're basically saying, do I need to file or not?
Right.
And then conservation will go out with yourself, they'll take a look at it and say, yeah, you know what, this is not, this has nothing to do with anything. So it's one of those, just to cover yourself, right? And just to make sure.
And more often than not, when it's questions of, does this apply to me or not, a lot of those questions can be answered just through talking to me.
Just call you.
Yeah.
And if it's marginal or you're not sure, that's something you might say, you know what, let's run it by the commission.
Exactly, yeah.
And 978-534-1626, and that's the number to call here. And what other things come up that we should be thinking about this time of year? Drainage is obviously one of them, and we've had a lot. The water table's got to be higher than it was in the fall. And we've had some snow and rain, and we've had some big events.
Like I was, speaking on the vernal pools, they fill up this time of year. It's typically everywhere that's when the water is highest, is right around now. And what you were saying earlier made me think, we're constantly running into that, conflict between, this is my personal property and I have a right to do what I want. But people might not be aware of all the services that wetlands and places like that fulfill for us, free of charge all the time. A lot of that is ecosystem services, and we don't want to harm, the local ecosystem, other animals and plants. But a big part of it is also protecting, human infrastructure and human property, and protecting against, catastrophic flooding and high peak runoffs and things like that. So, it's definitely I know I can speak for the commission in saying it's never our goal to get in anyone's way and tell you what you can and can't do, but we are here to speak for the wetlands and the services they provide, because they can't speak for themselves. So Yeah, you don't want to do whatever you want on your property and have
Sure.
it negatively impact your neighbors.
Right, and
you
we
know?
also have a thing called the Stormwater Management Act, which
Exactly.
basically says you can't dump your water on somebody else's property. You
Mm-hmm.
can't pipe it, you can't divert it. And we used to have tons of problems like that when people would just run some permanent drain or drain around the house. Next thing you know, they just send it off into somebody else's land, and then later on, in a big storm, they get flooded, or all kinds of things happen.
Yeah.
Last question is: do you have any other hikes planned?
Definitely, yeah. So
Where are you going next?
Right, the very next one will be at Johnny Appleseed State Park. Some people might be familiar with it. That's another one. There's not really good signage for the area, but it is. We'll be starting off right behind McLaughlin Fields. I don't know if they're better known as Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth Fields.
Yeah, Babe Ruth Fields down off the old Lancaster.
Old Lancaster Road.
Yes,
Where the
yeah.
Head Start is and the Babe Ruth Fields.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes.
So there's a parking area back there and a bunch of trail systems down there. We'll be having a wildflower hike on April 27th.
Oh, cool. That's cool.
On a Thursday. I think it's going to be either 4 or 4:30. I'm going to play around with that and see. But it'll be an afternoon hike on Thursday
The
afternoon.
sun's up.
So,
At
yeah.
one point, there were going to be trails all along the Nashua, all the way down to Johnny Appleseed's birthplace.
Yeah.
And I don't know how far they got.
'Cause he
Do
was
you
right
know
across-
how far it goes?
It's a pretty good network up there.
Following the river?
Yeah, Fall Brook empties into the Nashua right through the middle of that. So you can't, there's nowhere to cross there. There's no bridges, but there's a lot of trails all through there. You can tell people are riding ATVs and stuff down there. They're not. You're not supposed to be doing that
Right.
if you're doing that. But people use the trails. But again, it's not a lot of signage, so a lot of people don't know about
people
it.
don't know. Is it okay for me to get down there or
Yeah.
not? Is it private property?
And that is all state-owned land.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're welcome to walk around down there, and that's what we'll be checking out. I've never been there in the springtime myself, but I'm told that there's some good spring flowers to be seen down there. So hopefully
cool.
they'll be out in April.
I'll try to get to that one. The last one I was in church. I
Yes.
texted you. I said, Nick, I'm sorry, but there was a conflict.
Yeah, you don't go to church on Thursday afternoon.
No, that's
Okay.
that. I'm going to make sure you tell Kelly, and she'll just put it right in the book there. But I
will.
do come here at 4 o'clock.
Right. Is this every Thursday?
Every Thursday we do this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
Don't worry, I'll catch you sometime.
Well, you can tell the stragglers to
I'll have,
rush out and get out
I'll
there.
have Keith come out and eat pizza for an hour.
Yeah.
Right, Keith? You could come and sit here and talk. That we could do pizza hour for a whole hour. Did I forget anything? Anything else you wanted to mention that I forgot?
No, just again, I'd love to encourage anyone if you have any questions or you're ever unsure if you need to come to conservation or not. If there's any way that I can make it easier on you, I will. But I'd rather you come and talk to me beforehand rather than me catch you afterward.
It's not worth it.
And mess up your plans when you're in the middle of
Chances
stuff.
are, if you're near the wetlands or you're near a river, a pond or whatever, you probably should stop in to see Nick. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, thank you a million for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having
And I
me.
hope I could get out to join one of your walks. Looked like a lot of fun. It looks like you had a lot of people show up, and they really took interest in what you were, what you were sharing with them.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
You must have been happy. Good.
Yeah.
All right, taking a short break here at Inside Leominster. We'll be right back. We got lots to catch up on today, so we'll see you on the other side.
Hi, so I'm Keith from LTV, and we're back, stop number 2 on the pizza crawl. I've never met a pizza I didn't like, and I expect that to continue with this one. We're at Espresso's, and the legend is they use orange soda in their sauce, so I'm excited to see if it lives up to the reputation. Yes, it does. Sauce is very sweet, complements the cheese very nicely. The bread is subtle, not overpowering. I love this one. The crew was sad I didn't share back at Athens, and I think that's going to continue with this one. I'm going to go have this. So I'm Keith from LTV. We're at our next stop on the Pizza Crawl, C&M. And if you know Leominster Pizza, you know C&M Pizza. They have a great reputation around the city, and I'm excited to try this. Another excellent slice of pizza. They're even kind enough to put it on a plate for me in the box. The most structurally sound slice so far, for certain, and also excellent. Cheese is perfect, bread's nice and soft, and the crust is delicious. And I've done it at the last ones, so I'm going to make it a theme here, and I'm going to go eat this.
So, from our pizza expert, Roadside, with Keith DePerry, right, Keith?
Yeah.
Roadside.
They promoted me to pizza professional.
I see that. Now, does that come with a stipend of any kind, or?
Oh no, it comes with no money and no power.
No? Yeah, but people. Yeah, but people might start calling you saying, "Hey, Keith, can you try my pizza?" You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to put you on a plane and fly you to San Diego to try my pizza. I want to know what you think.
If somebody wants to fly me out to San Diego,
All right.
go.
Hey. That's the way it goes. All right. Hey, I got lots to talk about, but the health fair, I really want to, they've spent a lot of time and they've worked real hard on this health fair tonight, and in conjunction with Luck. And it's tonight. They're really good. I mean, when I say really good, I mean really good raffles and prizes, and free. Just come and put your name in, and they've got all kinds of people there and resources talking about healthy and staying healthy, including prevention, natural remedies, sports, exercise, recreation, and also healthy pizza. Caller, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dino.
Crystal, what's going on today?
Anniversary was good.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I hear people really like the new look of Hannaford down there on Route 1.
It looks different.
Does? See, I made a point of not going in so that I could see what it looked like when they were done. I like that. I don't like to see while it's happening. I like to see the before and then the after.
Mark's doing good.
Is he back to work?
Yep.
Good. Crack the whip down there. When I see him, I'm going to tell him, you got to crack the whip down there, Mark.
All right, I'll tell him you said hello.
All right. Thank you, Crystal.
Have a good one.
Talk to you later. Yes, so that's important. They work hard and they like to see people show up. And I was in there and they were setting up and they like, you think anybody's going to show up? And I says, we've been promoting it for a week. So, that's a way to support or show support for people that work real hard at what they do. Yard waste. If you have branches and things in your yard now, reasonable. We start picking up yard waste April 3rd. So what do you do with those branches? If you can get a good pair of clippers, you can generally cut that up, put it in a bundle. They should be 4 foot length, and 3 inches in diameter. So 3 inches in diameter, meaning if you measured across the bottom of it, 3 inches, they'll pick all that up. We have a separate truck that goes out from the 3rd for 8 weeks, from the 3rd to the 26th. So if you had some trees and branches come down, perfect way to get rid of them, and they'll start picking it up. In addition to your regular trash, April 3rd, starting April 3rd, which is just a couple weeks away, is it? Week and a half away? Right up until May 26th. You can always bring it to AKS, Transfer Station. They're open Monday to Wednesdays 9 to 1, Thursday and Friday 9 to 4, and then on Saturday 8 o'clock till 11:30. So there you go. You have a couple of options there. And don't forget, if you're looking for a summer job, a couple of things. You can go to Mass Hire, and they have just a huge database of positions that are available for summer jobs and then full-time jobs. So take advantage of that as well. But also, we need lifeguards and other positions are open at the Leominster Recreation Department, 534-7549. Let's do an update on the 7 days. Let me see if I can grab my, see how we do here. Look at that. That's a great shot, isn't it?
That is an excellent shot.
Excellent shot. Here we go. Ready? 57,000 people were tested in 7 days across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. 2612 tested positive. 49 deaths, one is too many. 641 in all of Worcester County. If you look at the bottom number in parentheses, we're at about 57. No, bottom line. We're down 11. We're down to 39. So we're about 20 in the last 7 days, because that's a 2-week number. Hospitalization down, ICU down, and up 7 in intubated. So, and again, this does not take into consideration those that get tests that you pick up maybe at City Hall or pick up somewhere. These are people that might have gone for medical reasons, or they called a doctor. Maybe they were going to do a procedure on you and said, we need to test you. That's the kind of situation. There are still some statewide testing sites. That's who would be recorded. So the number is probably much higher than that. In other news, as they say, we were awarded a new traffic advisory signal. Wendy worked very hard on that. School officials at Johnny Appleseed School, the ward counselor helped in this effort. So we've got new traffic advisory signals for Johnny Appleseed School from MassDOT. They'll be putting those up before the new school year. We submitted a $750,000 request to Senator Markey and Warren and Representative McGovern, and it's for a new community center. We're working to build a new community center on French Hill or the east side. Thriving Community Grant was submitted, again, to the federal government, the Department of Transportation. It's an analysis of the east side to improve housing and infrastructure. And Leominster was, and this is when good chance you're going to get the funding, is we got invited to the second round. So that's usually a good indication. And then we got a grant awarded for digital access and to complete an assessment of digital access throughout Leominster to find out if there are areas that are lacking accessibility for internet. And anybody that's got internet right now, it's not about access sometimes, it's about how much it costs. And North Nashua, down on the connector, if you look to the left, the road on the back side of it near the treatment plant has been washing in. It went out to bid. I think they opened it. It actually came in a little less than we thought, which is a good sign. And then we've got a letter of intent in for another grant for Marcello, Moreland Ave, Tolman Ave, and Hamilton, Crawford Street areas for sewer and water and sidewalks, granite curbing, and the Safe Routes to School project, which is the in total reconstruction of Viscaloid Ave. That is started already. They started bringing in equipment. They've started some drainage work. They put all the signage up. Please, if you have to go by and you use Viscaloid Ave, especially in the morning when the kids are going to school, you got to take it easy out. You got to have patience because there'll be delays and detours and all of that, and we need your patience. Hey, guess what? It's Atheist Day. It's chips, not chip. It's chips and dip day. Melba toast. I always say Melba toast doesn't get the credit. You ever eat Melba toast, Scott? It's good stuff, but it doesn't get the recognition. If you go to the supermarket, there's like one little shelf space, a couple boxes wide. There's one company that makes Melba toast. It's kind of, I guess people perceive it as boring. It doesn't have chocolate in it or a lot of salt. But it is Melba toast day. So.
I remember when John Cleese used to do the commercials for that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Trying to give it some recognition. It's National Puppy Day. Do you have a puppy? Well, maybe you can have some Melba toast and chips and dip with your puppy. It's World Math Day, how important that is. I use math every day. World Meteorologist Day. And there should have been last week when we had the big storm because they were right on with that. They were pretty, they said this is the area that's going to get hit. They drew a circle, and that's what got hit. And it's the first day of Ramadan. So if you're celebrating Ramadan, it's the first day of Ramadan. 978-534-1626. That's the phone number here at Inside Leominster. We meet here on Thursdays, pretty much every Thursday. We miss it one or two, but we usually will do a repeat or show another show. And we do it to bring information to you and let you know what's happening in and around town. I do a morning briefing. If you have Facebook. You ever watch our morning briefing, Scott? So we do a morning briefing at 9 o'clock generally. This morning I was a little late, but, you know, give you some updates, tell you what's going on. But the one good part about it is if, like the day of the storm, so I can see, you know, how many people are watching. It's pretty much the same every day. But the days when something big is going on, people know that at 9 o'clock, you can go to Facebook and find out what's going on. Like right to the second, you know I'm going to be there. I can update you on what's happening. And when we had the storm, and even the day after the storm or whatever's going on, bang, you can see the numbers just go just right through the roof. So good stuff. All right. Let me just... Is it me switching this, or are you guys fooling around making me think I switch it?
It's all you.
Is it? Like,
you need new batteries?
Hang on, no. I always thought like you guys were changing it, making me think I hit the button. Let's see.
Sometimes we like to mess with you.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Look at that. Did you know that 1922, the first airplane landed at the United States Capitol in Washington, D.C.? There was so much land around there at the time, they pretty much land anything. 1929, the first telephone was installed at the president's desk in Washington, D.C. at the White House under the Hoover administration. Imagine it was only 1929, not that long ago. Yeah. They had the first phone. I wonder who he called. 1940, the first radio broadcast of Truth or Consequences on CBS. 1940, imagine that. I didn't know that. Some of these shows have been on forever. And 1973, Yoko Ono was granted permission, permanent residence in the USA, despite the fact that several times she tried to get out of here. I don't know if you remember that, but look up the history. And Yoko Ono, a couple of points, I don't know, she was mad about taxes or something, and she was threatening to go back or whatever. But anyway, she became a full-blown United States citizen.
Did we have a Yoko Ono fact last week too, Dean?
We did. Her and John Lennon... Were they thrown out of somewhere? Or
I don't know if deported was the word, but they got removed from the country because they refused to pay taxes.
Yeah. Is that what it was? They were like Tea Party people back then. They were like, yeah, we're not paying taxes. And interesting. Very, very interesting. Now, 1977, Elvis Presley began his final concert series, which kind of stinks. I liked Elvis. And in 1994, Howard Stern formally announces his libertarian run for New York governor. I hardly think that Howard Stern is a libertarian anymore. I think he's more on the liberal side, I would say. I don't know. That's what I think. And in 2010, President Barack Obama signs the Affordable Care Act, nicknamed Obamacare, expanding the availability and the affordability of health care insurance across the country. And as a footnote, it was really the first time that was done as Governor Romney had Obamacare was very much mirrored Obamacare. And you want to hear something else interesting, guys, back there about Howard Stern? When Howard Stern was married, and he once said that he had an office in his basement, and if anybody knows Howard Stern, he's very, very germophobic and very, very, personal and private and all that. And he said there was only 2 people who were ever allowed in his basement office, and that was his wife, so it would have been his ex-wife, and his publisher, whose name was Judith Regan. Judith Regan was her mother was an impressor. That was their name, impressor. That's a Leominster Fitchburg name. She's from this area, and she was his publisher, but also put out the book. I think if you look this up, Bradley, if you could, Judith Regan, and look up Rush Limbaugh's book. I think she was either the editor or the publisher of that, and I'm doing that off the top of my head. But anyway, she was only one of 2 people ever to be allowed in his private office. How's that? So
The Way Things Ought to Be by Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah. Was she involved in that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Judith Regan. So she did a ton of stuff. In fact, I want you to look up the following, if you can. If I Did It, and this was a book. Was this a Murdoch book or something? So she was hired to produce a book, and it was called If I Did It, and it was O.J. Simpson See, I'm doing this from memory. I don't have this in front of me. O.J. Simpson wrote this book about if he actually did kill, if he actually did the murders, and people went nuts. Now, she was hired, she was assigned to do the book, and people went crazy. Do you see it in there?
Yeah. Regan Books,
Books.
which she owned, published it.
Yeah. So people went nuts, and so he fired her. I think it was Murdoch. Fired her, kind of like threw her under the bus, and she said, "Wait a minute here." In other words, to get the pressure off of him for putting such a book out. And she said, "Look, I was assigned to this project. I did it. I worked for you," and she sued him. I don't know if that's in there, but Judith Regan, she had a Fox. She was on, I think Fox, or no, she was on satellite radio, on Sirius Radio. She had a show for a while. I'm not sure what she's doing now. I haven't heard from her in a long time, but a very powerful and experienced business person. She's got not many publishers in the United States. There were not very many women publishers, and she was one of the first, if not the first, in the business. It was a old guy business. They all golfed at the same golf course and all that, and she broke into the business. So, all right, 978-534-1626. If you have any questions, there you go. Mr. Keith, the pioneer professional, the expert, the aficionado, the Athens Pizza Central Street, Athens Pizza North Leominster, C&M Pizza, Espresso 2. Launch in Leominster has opened. Paisano's Pizza and Spirits, Papa John's, Pizza King, Roasted Peppers, and T.C. Lando's Sub and Pizzeria. Tickets are available through tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And you know what? In 2 days, easy, you can get yourself out there and get to these pizza locations. Follow the police station progress by going to LeominsterPoliceStationProject.com. And remember, we did the tour? From what I'm told, now I haven't been in there because I like to go in when it's like, with the substantial progress. From what I'm told, it's changed since we did the show. Who came in on that one, Bradley or Keith?
Keith and I.
Keith and I. So they both came in. Anyway, from what I understand, it looks totally different. So you can see the lifts outside, and they're doing glass installation. They're doing building some walls in the back. They'll be doing paving pretty soon, at least the base of it. And permanent power is expected to be completed any time now. And installing cabinets and equipment and everything. There you go. Leominster Youth Art Show was a big success. Thank you to all that participated. The pizza crawl this week. And then just another week and a half, less than that. We're going to start on April events. The first one is Easter Fun Day. That's on the 7th, which is Good Friday, 10 to 2. We have a lot of fun. That's always packed, always packed. And I understand the Leominster Methodist Church is going to have I hope it's in here, I'll look later, going to have an Easter egg hunt. I don't have that here, I don't believe, but there's an indoor farmers market. Earth Fest is on the 18th, indoor farmers market on the 20th. Citywide cleanup, which we do it a little bit different. We used to pick a day. Then we realized so many people have so many conflicts on that one day. So now we put these kits together, and if you're interested, you can stop down to City Hall, go see Melissa, or come into our office. They'll give you a kit, everything you need, gloves, bags, everything you need, and you can clean a street, you can clean a park, let us know where you are, send the trucks out to pick the park, and it doesn't have to be on that day anymore. It's the whole month, right up until May 19th. I'm sorry, ongoing until May 19th. Citywide cleanup, the 20th all day, but it's actually before and after is really what it means. Then, hopefully, we'll have enough participants to do Taste of Leominster. How's that? Taste of Leominster. Farmers Market, as we say, on May 4th, they'll be heading outside. May 4th. Pretty good. And but in the meantime, the third Thursday of every month, right at City Hall, is the Health and Wellness Fair. It's coming up tonight. Please, if you can, join us. It kicks off at 6 o'clock. So if you're just getting back into town at 7:30, stop down. Art Festival. This is pretty important. All right, let me take a poll here. Scott, when was the first time you went? What age were you when you went to Washington, D.C.?
I was 13.
Did you go to a school or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Keith, have you ever been to Washington, D.C.?
I have not.
You haven't. All right. Bradley, ever been to Washington, D.C.?
No.
No. But they started this, many school systems across the country started this, taking students to school, to Washington, D.C. in the 8th grade. And that's where Scott ended up. East Egg Hunt, I'm being told right now, see, people do watch this show, is April 1st from 10 to 12. Okay? Thank you, sir. How about you? Have you been to Washington, D.C.?
Yes. Like 2 times.
And you see, going to Washington, D.C., I know I was like 35. I was first mayor when I first got my chance to go. I got to tell you, it is powerful. You know, all the monuments and everything. There's the Capitol, the White House. It is very, very just very, very, all that history. And for us, when we were there, it was the first time that they had opened the Holocaust Museum. So we were in there like that, literally that first couple days. And to see all the different memorials, the war memorials and Lincoln Memorial, all of that was just incredible. So they take students and try to take them, but sometimes, especially now with inflation, the cost of everything, kids can't always afford to go. So they are now, if we get back there, they're having a fundraiser on the 30th from 5 to 7 o'clock at City Hall. And they're going to try to raise money for students to be able to go on that trip that typically wouldn't. And so there's a lot of talented artists. They're going to sell their art. They're going to auction their art. There'll be activities in sand art and pastels and painting and much, much more. So if you think, if you could stop by, it's right at City Hall. If you could stop by City Hall from 5 to 7 on the 30th, it would really be appreciated. They're working very hard. They put this together in the last couple of weeks. They're working really hard. And, it could mean that kids typically that wouldn't be able to go are going to be able to go. Are you guys ready for Pictures of the Week? Because I never know what they are. And here they go. Ready? Brace yourself. Look at that. It's Barbara Mahoney, classmate of mine since junior high school at Mayor Gallagher. She's now the CEO of Leominster Credit Union, Leominster Bond, and there we are. And they made a really nice donation. You can see the amount there, $5,000, and it came at a time when the fund was almost out. In fact, it was out, and they made that donation, and what a big deal. And businesses around town have been really helpful, and it's been a tough year. I don't know how people. I seriously, and as thrifty or cheap as you call me, I just don't know how some. I get Market Basket or Hannaford's, and I see people's carriages, and I'm like, how are they affording this? I even freak out. I'm like, I'm like looking at my register tape, and I'm like, wait a minute, how much was this? How much is that? Like, is this possible? It's not just eggs. Anyway, thank you to the whole team and the board of directors at Leominster Credit Union and Barbara Mahoney as well for coming out and making these donations. They're great supporters of our city. And then also we're at Fidelity. And they bought some freezers, additional freezers down there at Ginny's. Not only did they buy, and see, everybody here is so engaged and so helpful and generous to the community. And there we are at Ginny's, and they donated. Not only did they donate the freezers, but they donated everything that was going to go into the freezers. So thank you. This is all how it gets done. You see, the team. This is how it gets done, right? And a big thank you to them. And there's Nick. There's Nick explaining his little walk in the woods at Lincoln Woods. And he's patient. He's really intelligent and smart and knowledgeable about the environment and plants, and he's super engaging and helpful. Well, here we go. Here's our traffic. I guess we're going to have to start. I'm hoping, Scott, I can get the new sponsors because maybe one of them is interested in doing like a traffic update of the week or something. because we're going to have plenty of them. So work has started on Viscaloid Ave. This means total reconstruction of Viscaloid Ave. Viscaloid Ave goes between Lancaster Street and Mechanic Street. They are going to completely rebuild sidewalks. There'll be new lights out there, granite curbing. They'll totally rip up the road, so they'll go right down, pulverize the road, take up all the other layers of blacktop that are there, better intersections, better signage. They're going to do a really good job out there. They're going to spend, that project we started out at $1 million. By the time we were through with the state, it's now up to $3 million. So if you have to go through there, there'll be days when they'll have to really slow people down and maybe detour people. But just remember, a lot of people walk to work, a lot of people walk just to get out and walk, and a lot of kids walk to school in that area. So, hey, Legendary Leominster is now up on our Facebook page, and a lot of excitement. Now, as you drive around the city in those utility boxes that you see usually around traffic signals, you're going to see a picture with names on them, and then underneath, you can go to our website or you can go to our Leominster Community Development and see Legendary Leominster, and there's a story about each of them. So Kathy DeRusso on the bottom, Mr. DiGiovanni there, Mr. Novak, Louis Charpentier. Frank Novak is up in North Leominster, right across from Wyman's. Let's see, I don't know where some of the others are. Mr. DiGiovanni is up by Lindell and Merriam Ave, up top, the dancer, Mrs. Maldonado, Noah Gray. I don't know where, so I haven't even seen where they put him, so it's like a scavenger hunt at this particular point. And chorusing around at Leominster High School, the kids did an awesome job. They came from every school, and they came out at the end to sing one song, and they are really building this program at the high school. And there we go, letters from Johnny Appleseed School, and we thank. It's really fun to get letters. You know that? It really is. It's a lot of fun to get letters, handwritten letters, and we thank all of those students. Welcome to Dandelions. They're down there at the Leominster Plaza. They just opened a new business, and they're selling reconditioned furniture and that table that you see on the right-hand side there behind me. Oh, my, it's Brazilian-made. Beautiful, beautiful table. And anyway, Dandelions, they're open, I guess, every day from like 8 to 4 or whatever, and stop down there. They're right next to the Chinese restaurant, and grand opening day for them, too. So there you go. I took that in front of the church across next to City Hall. So spring has sprung. There are the flowers. There's the proof. And don't forget, right? Do not forget these heroes. Captain Ross A. Reynolds, it's been a year. March 19th marked 1 year. And, for forever, we remember, right? And we're out of time. All right, everybody, thanks for watching tonight. Thanks for watching. Good night. God bless you. Remember, the world is run by those who show up. Thanks for showing up. Good night.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by DeCarolis Insurance Agency Incorporated, DeCarolisinsuranceagency.com, and by Enterprise Bank. Enterprise Bank creates success. EnterpriseBanking.com.
This is LTV.